Hey, what's up guys? This is John Osumi coming at you again with another video from Motionshooter Photography. Today's topic is a little bit different than what we've been talking about lately. It's going to be more about maintenance of your body. So as a photographer, we are in not the most comfortable positions if we're shooting for long periods of time. There's aches and pains and injuries that can be a result of that if you don't do proper body maintenance in the gym. The one issue that we're really trying to deal with and trying to avoid is tendonitis. But the tendonitis is your early warning sign. It comes as pain, it comes as achiness, it might come as throbbing. These are things you want to recognize early and start dealing with these things right away. At some point, if you let the problem get too bad, the only fix will be medical intervention, and then you're talking about more extreme forms of treatment. The first exercise I'm going to show you is for the fingers, and this will affect the wrist joint and it will affect the forearm and the elbow as well. But since we're articulating with the fingers, I'm just going to call this a finger exercise. All you need for this one is just a standard rubber band. This could be the same kind of rubber band that would go around a newspaper. We can use a hair tie. I find the light resistance is actually really helpful, but if you needed more resistance than just one rubber band, you can actually use 2 or 3 as you get stronger. But this is really simple. All you do is you wrap it around your fingers. You want to get it as close to the fingertips as possible. And this is the key. This is the key that makes this exercise effective. The exercise must be done with the elbow straight. So I will do it. First of all, I'll straighten my posture with my torso. Shoulders are back, my chin is tucked, my chest is lifted. Elbow is straight and I've got my arms straight out. I'm going to open my fingers, slowly close them. You want to close them under control so your muscles are working in both directions. Typically, an exercise like this, you want to go high repetitions. So I would say at least 15, but if you can get anywhere between 15 and I would say 50 repetitions per set, that's going to be effective. The idea is that you want to fatigue the muscles. So when you open your fingers like this, you're fatiguing way up in here, which will affect the elbow joint, but at the same time, you got to start your maintenance from the most distal part of your arm and work your way up. Another way to do this exercise is with it straight at your side. Again, the elbow is straight, but all the technique is still the same. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to start focusing on the elbow joint. Again, this is going to affect the muscles of the forearm, but the goal is to actually reduce the tension on this lateral condyle in the elbow, which is where all these forearm muscles attach to. And it's again to create equal strength between the anterior part of the arm and the posterior part of the arm. I'm actually going to show you 2 exercises that we can do here. The first one is a supination exercise. Supination just means that you're turning at the wrist, you're turning your fist. I've got a 5-pound dumbbell. We can use 2-pound dumbbells, you can go less, you can go more. Even a straight rod works really well with something like this. It doesn't have to have any weight to it, it just has to be long. But I'm going to hold this dumbbell on the far end, and then I'm just going to rotate. I've got my arm rested on a countertop. It's not real critical whether your elbow is bent or straight, but the key is you want to control this movement on both directions. So you're gaining strength in both directions. And one thing you got to remember with strength training is that you're flexibility training as well. So you're gaining flexibility by taking your muscles to this full range of motion. Okay, so this is supination, pronation, supination, pronation. Okay, the next one, we can use the same dumbbell extension exercise. So I've got my elbow resting on the end of a bench, and I'm just lifting up. You want to curl it all the way down. You want to flex it all the way so you get a stretch. The stretch is happening here, and then flex it all the way up. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to just throw it up there. You don't want to use momentum. You want to make sure that the muscle is doing all the work, because the only way to make these effective is if you fatigue the muscles with proper form. You just have to remember that how you shoot your pictures is a habit. How you do your maintenance is another habit of equal importance. So you got to make sure that all your techniques, all your preparation, your execution is flawless, or as flawless as you can get for the best results. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to show you is for the shoulder joint. And the shoulder joint has a lot of range of motion, but it also has a high probability of injury. Just think of your shoulder as your arm is basically attached to your body, and what holds it in there is not so much the structure of the bones, but it's the ligaments and the attachments that hold your arm in the shoulder joint. So that gives you great range of motion, but at the same time, all these ligaments can become injured very, very easily. So you want to really make sure that you maintain balance. Really quickly, balancing the shoulder means that if I'm standing with perfect posture, my shoulders are not forward, they're rolled back, my chin is tucked, and my chest is lifted. So you have a nice alignment from the ear all the way down to the ankle. You want to do your exercises that are going to help that shoulder maintain a neutral position as much as possible. And we do that by working the rotator cuff. I'm using a cable machine. You can actually use rubber bands. This could be done laying on your side using dumbbells. I've got a really lightweight set. It's a good practice to have something that keeps your elbow from just a little bit out from your body. That way it's not exactly touching. So I'm going to start with perfect posture. Chin's tucked, my chest is lifted, my shoulders back. I've got my arm bent at 90 degrees. And from here, my elbow stays stationary. And I'm just moving my arm 45 degrees out, controlling the resistance as I come back. 15 to 20 repetitions with perfect form. Posture is very important to maintain this alignment as you go through this range of motion. You're going to feel the rotator cuff working right up in here if you're doing it properly. You also want to be aware of the wrist. We don't want any of this extra wrist movement here. We want all the movement happening from the rotator cuff itself. And if the rotator cuff is working, this humerus bone, the big bone of your upper arm, is rotating on an axis. This one really burns. After I do this side, I'm going to turn around and work the other side, because you always want to work both sides. You don't just want to work an injured area, you want to work the entire body. So if you have two joints of the similar type, work them both, even though only one's injured. Hey, I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm hoping it was informative, and hopefully you picked up a few tips on how you can maintain your body. Photography, it's not a highly aggressive physical activity, but the overuse patterns that you do on a continuous basis will break your body down, will break your joints down. So I always feel like the best time to deal with an injury is before it actually happens. You want to be aware of your body and how it feels. And as you feel even the slightest ache or pain, or even the slightest thing that doesn't feel right in a joint, no matter which joint it is, you want to make sure you address it right then and there. Because little problems turn into big problems, and this isn't a sprint race that we're doing as far as our photography career. This is a long marathon that we want to continue late into life, and the only way to do that is maintain your body. This is John Osumi from Motionshooter Photography. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.